And not usually, I usually like jiu-jitsu, but like, there's jiu-jitsu people that know how to wrestle. Like, who's watched ADCC here? Everybody knows what ADCC is, kind of. Okay, it's like the premier submission grappling. It's the Olympics of submission grappling. And if you want to compete without the gi, that's the thing that you want to win. What you'll notice at ADCC is the game looks very different than if you go and, let's say, watch IBJJF no-gi worlds or just any other no-gi competition. You just see a much, much higher demand on wrestling. Almost all of the exchanges end up with some element, unless it's just like somebody like Eddie Cummings who just sits down and tries to like, but like generally speaking, there's a pretty huge emphasis on wrestling, and one of the main sorts of things that you see happening is people turning and posting their hands, which you very rarely see at anything other than the elite level in jiu-jitsu. In jiu-jitsu, somebody gets hit with like a takedown, like a strong takedown attempt or a strong sweep, they sit down and they play guard. What happens is, let's say I do this tripod sweep and I get your butt down and I'm about to do this. As a wrestler, what would you do here? Try to drive back into me, exactly. Now let's say you can't. What would you do? I'm trying to get up. Yeah.
Probably go over in the grand.
Turn and get in.
Oh,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Make sense? Yeah. So that's something that you're going to see again, almost never at the lower levels of jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu like, oh, I'm down. But in a competition where that's basically how you're going to score and win. You're going to get them down. Like if you get a takedown or a sweep at the high level, you win. People fight like crazy, and if you're only holding one leg, the ability to just turn and go like this, and then basically fight off a single leg, right? Like it's not great, it's not ideal, but it's a hell of a lot better than conceding the points. The problem with any single leg based, lever control based sweep that doesn't involve you then transitioning to the second ankle is that anybody who has any wrestling ability or any desire to fight off like a point scoring maneuver, they'll just do that. They'll just turn like, doesn't matter how good I am, they'll just go, oh cool. And then they'll try to fight you from here. And if they're good wrestlers, they'll beat you from there, right? So we want to start to introduce the idea that if I'm going to try to get you down, I don't ever want that to be an option. Unless you're really good at finishing a single. If I can just work my way up to your hip, cool. I'm not going to tell you otherwise. But if you don't, this is what we're going to do. So we're just going to introduce a slightly different sweep to introduce this idea. And this is going to happen. This is going to happen from a shin-on-shin guard, which is this. My ankle and my instep against his ankle and instep, and my arm on the same side. So my left leg is hooking his right. My left arm is hooking around the back of his knee, and I want to go biceps deep and bring his knee to my chest. I didn't really want to get into hand fighting because that's something that either we can cover on the time or Jen can cover on the time, but there's always going to be some element of like, I need to win a hand fight. It's not like I'm just going to get to be here because he's going to interfere, he's going to push me away, he's going to do stuff. So just understand that whether we're doing a tripod sweep or whether we're doing this, there always has to be a hand fighting element that gets you to where you need to be. We're just not dealing with that today because we're dealing more with the sweeping mechanics. So let's assume I won the hand fight for a second, I got myself to here. My partner's knee is being pulled towards my chest. Notice how he had to take a step. If he's in his stance, and like again, let's assume that he was like a lot taller than me and he had his leg way back. Oh man, I can't reach that second leg. But as I connect his knee to my chest, and I take my foot into base, and I do that, he has to take a step. If he wants to maintain his balance, he's got to take a step. So I can predict with 100% accuracy where his foot is going to go, and I can catch it. Again, hooking, ankle to ankle, biceps deep, I pull the knee to me, and I keep it glued to my chest. My posture is going to be really strong here. I don't want to do this because I can get guillotined. Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to keep my posture really strong, and this foot is going in the base. What's going to allow you to pull your partner is this pushing motion. There we go. That's what I'm trying to do. And at the same time, as I'm pushing, doing like a back extension, keeping this knee glued to my chest, I'm going to be starting to flick this foot out a little bit, which is again forcing him to post that foot. As soon as this happens, I just catch his ankle, and I'm good to go here. Depending on where his weight shifts, see how he's already shifting his weight towards me, I can start to bring him to the other side. Or, if he shifts his weight more away from me, or he takes that step, I catch the ankle, then I can just come up onto my knees and take him to that side. You can see he's already turning away. That's in jiu-jitsu, no one will do that. In wrestling, everyone will do that. And at the higher level of jiu-jitsu, everyone will do that. They'll turn away. But because I've got both his ankles, he can't go into an athletic stance. He can't do this. And if he can't do this, I can climb to the hip relatively easily. That's the big difference between double lever to the hip and single lever to the hip type sweeps. Does anyone need to see this movement again? Okay. So I get myself to here, I plant my foot strong in base, I keep good posture, I keep good tight structure. You can even connect your hands here like this if it's necessary. Push around the ankle. Now from here my head is still up, which is keeping him from driving into me too much. And then I can start to elevate him like this. And I'm just following my shoulder. And I'm continuing to elevate here. This hand is controlling the ankle. And once I feel his weight going into his hands, I'm using my bottom leg to technical stand up. And I'm still holding, you notice I was around the back of his knee. I'm still holding the knee and I'm still holding the ankle. And I can just drive him down flat and then pursue whatever I'm going to pursue. In jiu-jitsu, everyone will turn and follow their butt there. They're going to want to play guard. So for today, you may as well do that. But just know that a lot of people, again, either at a higher level or the wrestling background, they'll turn to their stomach and they'll try to get themselves free. So we've got to be binding their legs as we climb into position. Any questions? All right, let's get to work.